All right, speaking of Nick Nat, his mates at West Coast take on Collingwood, and you would think, you talk about a home ground advantage there before.
Yes.
You would think the West Coast Eagles would be doing, cashing in on that one at the expense of Collingwood, who've had to travel there back in a hub for 7 days.
But they do travel well, Tone. Collingwood, we know that. And they do play well in Perth also. So you give them half a chance. And they've got to go over there. They're over there yet, Lordo, and they're training there.
Yeah, they're there.
And putting their soapy wet balls. Kano did highlight this a number of weeks ago. There he is. He's saying, this is what they need to do. And the Pies, as you said, they travel well, Bill. But Cornesy, they've won 7 from 7 this year, the Eagles in Perth. So it's going to be a tough one to overpower the Eagles over on their home deck.
Yeah, I might use TJ's line and say Collingwood are going to make up the numbers in this one. They're not winning this game.
Okay. Oh, right. Sorry, what was that?
He said that they're making up
Collingwood
the
to
numbers.
make up the numbers.
No one's listening to Kane.
Mitch really talks at inappropriate times, doesn't he? Are you seriously... Hang on, let's just get this right. Collingwood is there to make up the numbers.
Unfortunately for them, just the travel, the quarantine, West Coast, the record in Perth is too much for them to overcome. As much as I've admired what the Pies have done this year, they're not winning this game.
Oh, Kane, I think that's probably the silliest thing you've actually said all year.
OK,
we'll
replay it next week.
I don't think the travel worries them.
Collingwood,
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, TJ, Collingwood, I think quite deliberately hasn't made a big thing about the requirements, the hard quarantine for these 7 days. But in another era, with Eddie Maguire in charge of that club, this would have been a massive issue that they have to quarantine in a way that's very different to their opponents. They have to travel, obviously, to Perth, and then the requirements they've got to hard quarantine for those 7 days is in such contrast to the Eagles, who are able to go home and have a 14-day window in terms of quarantining, but pretty much can do whatever they want, in inverted commas, that compared with the Collingwood team. So they're up against it. They're absolutely up against it. I do feel for them, and I think they are quite politically have just kept their silence on it. But it's unfair in an ideal world scenario.
But there's no need to talk about it, Dame. I think Collingwood have done the right thing. We saw clubs earlier on in the season complain about travel, complain about being in the hub, and it didn't help their performance. And I think Collingwood have made a real, focus about not speaking about it, and they're going to West Coast to raid them and try and win this game. And I think all outside chatter, Collingwood have just put aside.
Yeah, I think you're right, Brownie. And they've got such a great travelling record, don't they? And they've got some key people back in recent times. Obviously, Treloar and De Goey are the main two there. They've lost side bottom since we last spoke officially. But they're certainly confident enough to go over there, because the Eagles haven't been travelling as well as they had, certainly in the last time that these two teams played in a massive grand final back in 2018.
And Damo, if Collingwood was that worried about it, the destiny was in their own hands in the final match of the home and away season.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm just talking about, TJ, if you talk about equality, there is no equality when it comes to what they have been required to do for a final, where the integrity is at its highest. But again, I'm not raising that for any other reason than just to highlight the discrepancy between what they're faced with going into this game compared to their opponents. And obviously, with everything that's happened to COVID-19, there's just been a beautiful acceptance of such matters.